Well, there's so many things, you know. I mean, I've been in pretty much every kind of fun, wild situation. One that wasn't so fun, though, was I tour all over, and I happened to be in Mexico touring. And I flew in for the show that day, and they had a limo to pick me up, and I'm standing there, and the driver opens up the door, and I sit in the car, and I've got my hand on top of the car with the door open. He shut the door on my hand. I was like, and I literally, my hand, I had to open the door from the inside. It was shut on my hand. I was like, you know, I said every swear word you could imagine. I opened it up. First of all, I didn't know if he chopped my fingers. I had to look, and there was this huge, like, line. Yeah, I mean, I thought I broke all the fingers, and I had to perform that night, and there was a doctor that was staying at the hotel, and they took x-rays, and nothing was broken. They called it a contusion, which means I had a bruise underneath every finger. I mean, it was all black and blue, and I had to perform. That was the most pain. And you know, when I play like this, I was in pain every single note of every second and every minute of that show. So that's one of the wild ones. But I still played the show. Someone asked me last night, he goes, dude, where do you hide the third hand? I could have said something wild. But I just practice hard. And, you know, I was at the NAMM show this year. Kenny G was there. And I was talking to him for a little bit, and you know, he had a lot of security around him, and but he was at the Dean booth actually, and he had mentioned that he, no matter what, he practices 2.5 hours every day, and I feel the same way. I'm always practicing, you know, because I think that if you let it go, then you lose it, and so I'm always maintaining it. You know, I like to practice 1 hour, 2 hours, if I can 12 or 14. That's the most, but I'm always practicing.
12 hours a day?
Yeah, when I record, that's what I do. Yeah, I'll play literally. The most I ever practiced was for my last CD called Hands Without Shadows. I did 14-hour-a-day sessions before I started the leads. I went nuts. It's like, I invented that. Like I invented this thing. I wanted to do things differently live and in the studio. Like, I sound like myself. Like, a lot of people, if they play metal guitar or in the style that I play, when they vibrato, they sound like Yngwie, or one person sounds like this guitar player. It's hard to have your own voice. And I think that I found my voice. When people hear me play, they know it sounds like me. I don't sound like other guitar players. And, I mean, even some of the shapes that I play, now I hear a lot of other players that know that, and it's kind of like the Angelo Batio sound. The way I developed the double was that I have my studio chops together, and I think in music in two terms: studio and live. CDs, concerts, and that's all there is for me. There's those two parts. In the studio, I play like this. I don't do anything. I don't need to. In the studio, you play serious. You play the best that you can play. But live, not everybody in that audience is a musician. There are people that just want to be entertained. So this is the entertainment part. And so, like Hendrix and Jimmy Page and great rockers before me, Jimmy Page had a violin bow. Hendrix smashed guitars. Richie Blackmore flipped his guitar over his shoulder. Steve Vai has a fan blowing on his hair. I mean, people do things live for the show. So that's where I came up with this. It's my unique take on Jimi Hendrix smashing the wasn't enough for me. I wanted to do something that no one had ever done. Not to be better, cooler, different. So that's, and I'm left-handed. So, and I play piano. So I got this idea by watching Eddie Van Halen play. I was watching a concert, and he had his guitar up like this. So I said, what if I put another one this way? And I had Dean Guitars. They were the company that built the first one, Dean. And so, but I came up with the idea to be different, to do something radically different that no one had ever done. Again, to be myself, to find my own voice, rather than copy other guitarists. I wanted to be the best Mikey I could be. You know, I wanted to be the best me that I could be. I didn't worry about trying to be Jimi Hendrix II or Eddie Van Halen or George Benson or Carlos Santana. It didn't matter to me. I wanted to be me. So that's how I did it.
Well, we saw your show last time and we were very impressed.
Yeah, well, the main thing about the double is people can say what they want, but I really play it. That's the thing, you know, and I mean, when you're hearing the melody on one side and the bass on the other, it's two entirely different things going on at the same time. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make it musical, and musical purists that say, well, you know, you can get some negative people, oh, well, oh, that's just for show, that's this. When I put in the double solos, I put elements of other people's music. For example, I play the Allman Brothers, I do Hendrix, I do Ozzy, and then when I do this contrapuntal part where I do the Alberti bass on this side, the melody on the other, it's an old surf song called Pipeline. So I make really cool references to people that came before me. And I think it sounds good too.
It does sound good.
And it looks cool, you know. I'm have it upside down, I'm levitating the guitar and playing it at the same time. I mean, December, I had been on the road about 250 days last year. When I got back, it took me about a week to decompress. You know, and people ask me, well, hey man, what do you do when you're got time off? But stay home. You know, I mean, because I'm on the road somewhere. It's real satisfying. And you know the thing too that I learned too is now in the recording process, I kind of have a good idea of what the end result's going to sound like, because I've been doing it a long time. So I know if I record a guitar part, if it's good or bad. You know, I'm a good judge of it. Plus, I'm not a lone wolf, so to speak. I don't do it all myself. I like to have people around me. Like I don't engineer my own tracks. You know, I use real drums. I don't do it like a lot of people where they do it in their home studio. And that's the satisfying thing for me, when you have people around you that can help out, you usually get a better product. Because like, let's say we're working together, I do a lead, I think it's pretty good, and I ask you, well, what do you think? And you might say, oh, it's fantastic, or you might say, you know, it's pretty good, but maybe there was one spot that you could make better. So by that, I think the end result is better. It's a better product. So, and it's the same way with Dean Guitars, it's how we got there. Out of the 100+ shows that I do pretty much every year, it's about 60% clinics, 40% concerts. And sometimes it's 50-50, but last year it was about 60-40. Because not only do I do clinics for Dean, but then the National Guitar Workshop, I'm doing that again this year, but I did a whole tour for them last year. It was 16 different cities just for them. So I do a lot.
In the clinics, do you get feedback? Do you learn from people that you meet?
Well, you know, I'm fortunate because I'm out there doing it. I think when you perform and you talk to people, you find out if you're going over. Yeah, I mean, I think it keeps me on my game, because when you do a clinic, usually you're playing for other guitar players. It's not like a concert where, you know, people can, you know, they're non-players. Not everybody plays. So you're under more of a microscope. I call it the note police. The ones who sit there waiting for me to hit that wrong note so they can tell their friends. But yeah, I enjoy it, yeah.